You're shaking your drip drop?
Yeah, I'm shaking my drip drop. So they have here at Pulltab Sports, they have so many amazing sponsors, and one of the ones they have is this hydration powder called Drip Drop, and it comes in all sorts of flavors. And,
good.
It's next level hydration.
So good.
Yeah. You know what else is good? Episode 57, RMG. I'm Paul Fletcher.
And I'm Eric Perkins.
And I'm Ellie Mark. I really struggled with that.
Perkins and Ellie Mark. Mark. Yeah.
She did She did one.
Perkins.
As long as we're done with it and we can move forward, no more rolling of the R's, okay?
Why? We can.
No more rolling of
Paul
the R's.
Fletcher.
No, and we are done.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay, friends and enemies, episode 57 is here, and Rank You Very Much is part of the Pulltab Sports family. Straight ahead, best Steves, most superb movie sequels. But let's start with coolest cereal mascot. There's a cool one? Rank you very much. Rank you very much.
Rank you very much.
Rank you very much. Rank you very much.
Rank you very much.
Very you very much.
Rank you very much. Rank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Classic Burke.
All right, so this one is my topic.
Yeah, it is. Obviously.
Clearly.
I selected this one.
How many years have you spent thinking about these?
Well,
Because
I
I
mean-
remember last episode I spent decades thinking about fictional birds.
I've spent decades thinking about this as well. Because, here's the thing. When you're a kid, what do you eat for breakfast?
Yeah, sure.
Well, back in the day, you ate cereal every day. Now,
Yeah.
things are a little bit different. People are a little bit more
Health conscious.
And so they go for different things. But still, cereal is prevalent in our society. And so this is coolest cereal mascots.
Of course it
Of
is.
which almost every
wouldn't it
cereal
be?
has one. Let's face it. Almost
Yeah.
every cereal kind of.
In some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of.
Mhm.
That's what I found. And so actually, you know what? I'm going to hold off on my rankings because I think mine are really, really strong. And so
Oh.
I'm going to lead with Ellie on this one because hers probably aren't. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He's not kidding at all,
That was
though.
a joke.
He's
That was
not
a
at
joke.
all kidding.
That was a joke.
I never get to go first.
We'll go Ellie first, Paul second, me third, maybe. I might call an audible. Ellie, you're up. Yeah.
Okay. Number 3.
You're not even making sense right now. Are you lucid? Somebody get this guy some hydration. My God. All right.
He needs that drip drop. Number 3.
What?
I was saying no to him. He was going to gargle.
I was
do
gonna.
not
How'd you know? How'd you know?
Because I saw you relax your throat.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
That's
that
what
you
she
knew
said.
that. Oh jeez.
Number 3. I'm going with, it's actually 3 mascots in one.
God, no.
Snap, Crackle, Pop.
You can't do this. This is not allowed.
What?
I don't think it's allowed. I
But
don't
it's
think you can.
it's the cereal mascot. Am I supposed to just pick one?
That's like if I said, oh no, it's Snorkeldorf, Goody Goody, Boss Moss, and I Ham Hose, and I listed off all the Freakies mascots. I wouldn't do that because it has to be just one. I'm talking
Okay,
about-
then Crackle it is.
Yeah, that's a good ranking.
Thank you. I concur.
That's a good ranking.
Crackle it is.
What if she just said snap?
Probably not. I probably wouldn't have got
What about
the same.
Pop?
Pop is just more of a clown show. I think that Crackle's a
Crackle's
really,
number 1
really
out of the
strong
3 of
one.
them.
Yeah.
Okay, Crackle it is.
Pop is an
Crackle is
A-wipe.
my number 3.
Pop's an A-wipe.
Yeah.
You just
I can't
know it?
stand him. Yeah, I just can't stand him.
I'm really glad that you guys know so much about these
Crackles.
cereal mascots. Number
Crackle's
2,
fine. Not
I'm
worthy,
going
but-
with Count Chocula. He's
Yeah.
got a great name. He's a count. I mean, he's pretty cool.
I mean, a count or a knight, something like that. He's
Yeah.
a count. I mean, you've accomplished something if you're a count.
Right.
Yeah, and then Chocula, and then he's like a little vampire dude.
And
And
chocolate's
it's really
good,
cool.
and chocolate's good, and
Yeah.
marshmallows are good, and all that.
Yeah.
I would argue though that Crackle, going back to that, is one of the worst rankings ever because Snap, Crackle, and Pop together as a unit are pretty badass. But as an individual,
You guys made me pick one, and so I
no,
picked one.
we didn't. Eric did.
I just said
because
like if I'm gonna name, if
You
we're
guys,
gonna
we
name
moved past
You're
this.
correct.
Ellie,
No, you're
Ellie,
correct.
Ellie.
Yes.
If we're gonna rank most iconic female sports athletes, we can't say okay, Serena and Venus is my number 1. I mean, you can't do that. It's like
Okay,
that's
touche.
how I view this.
So basically, what I'm
touche.
saying is that they shouldn't even be on your list. Is what I'm saying. Because Crackle by himself doesn't do much.
You had a
for
chance
anybody.
to say this and you missed it because I moved on to my number 2 and already shared it and we already commented on that and then you went back to my number 3. That's just not chill, bro.
I'm not gonna apologize for my brain not always being the fastest in the room. Sometimes it's a little bit slower.
I'm glad you finally admitted that. Ew.
That's disgusting.
I'm uncomfortable.
I was just trying to break it up. I knew that would get your attention. Move on.
Number 1, there's just this is the coolest cereal mascot. There's no argument that
so
will
then give
convince
us
me
your
otherwise. It's Tony the Tiger. He's really cool, dude.
He's great.
He's great. He's iconic. He's
Hashtag-
cool.
Hashtag basic.
How well
As
The most
hashtag
boring-
as basic as it gets.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah.
I will. You know what? I'm
Yeah.
going to accept that for this because I feel like this basic ranking stands for itself. Tony the Tiger is the coolest cereal mascot. He kind of gave cereal mascots a platform and he has transcended beyond cereals. You know, he is now a part of so much more than just cereal representation. And
Oh
I
my
just
God.
believe he's such a leader in the field. I'm very proud to have him as my
I
number
just-
1 coolest cereal
I just
mascot.
picture like Lucky the Leprechaun going up to Tony the Tiger and thank you for giving us all a platform.
You know what? I was going to bash the trash out of her. And she turned me. I had my mouth open. I was taking a breath. I was going to lay into her.
Don't.
And then she turned me with that. At
Thank
the
you.
very end. Up until then, you did nothing. But at that point, I'm not going to bash number 1 anymore.
I believe that little leprechaun dude that I don't even know his name, that's how not cool he is,
Lucky.
would go up to Tony the Tiger and ask for his autograph on his little leprechaun booty.
All right, Paul, you're up next.
All right. Number 3 is Trix, the rabbit.
Oh, he's so annoying.
He's misunderstood.
Yeah, he is.
Vastly
I mean, because
misunderstood. He just wants tricks.
yeah, he just
one
that's all he
time can
wants.
have a trick.
He's
Like
so
that.
desperate. That's the opposite
But
of
then
cool.
they always like it's like Lucy ripping the ball out from Charlie. He just like it's just like, oh no, you can't have that. Oh, silly rabbit, tricks are for kids. Dang it, man! Why can't I just have my
One
freaking
time.
tricks?
Can I just-
Desperate and
one
cool
time-
are not the same thing.
He's not desperate.
He is
just
desperate. He is the
wants-
definition of desperate.
he's misunderstood, is what he is,
Yes,
and
he's-
there's a horrible prejudice against him.
Correct. That's
Ageism is what it is.
It's
Oh,
ageism.
come.
It's
well,
ageism.
and it's also an incredible discrimination on rabbits.
It's rabbitism,
It's
is what it
making
is.
making
It's-
them look like they're crazed
right.
fruitcakes.
I'm literally speechless. I can't even believe
the
we're
way we
having
like
this
It's a really good
conversation.
rush. Such a strong ranking.
It is
Paul.
not. It is
like, out of the
weak.
gates with that. I'm so excited to hear what your number 2 and number 1
I'm
are.
not.
Number 2 is Count Chocula.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's a count.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, what more do I need to say? Any dude who can stand in front of a cereal that leaves me drinkable milk, that elevates my milk at the end.
We are not talking about tastiest cereals.
We're not, but
He represents it, though, and it's a part of his cool factor.
yeah, because he's not Count Dracula, he's Count Chocula, and he's the chocolate part. And his suit is brown. I mean, he pops the collar. The dude's handsome, borderline, very handsome, and like I just think it's a really good ranking.
You think he's handsome?
I do.
Borderline, very handsome, or really handsome. Number 1 is the loudmouth.
What?
The loudmouth with, I'm envisioning, he doesn't talk a lot, but I'm
Who?
envisioning he's got a sailor's mouth. It's Captain Crunch. Duh. I mean, we've talked about Crunch Berries before, and Captain is the spokesperson for one of the greatest cereals of all time, and it's probably one of the greatest cereals of all time because of the work that Captain has put in, Captain has put in behind the scenes.
Oh, you're the best. You're the best.
It's, you know what? You didn't take this
Those
seriously.
were
That's fine.
such
I
strong
did
rankings.
too
You
take
didn't.
this
You
seriously.
didn't.
Are you freaking kidding me? I
You
Googled it.
You Googled cereal mascot, saw Tony the Tiger, and went, I'm done.
No, I picked Tony the Tiger before I Googled it, and then the other two I did research. And honestly, Captain, that's
Captain Crunch.
it
Bro
is
elevates
dumb.
everything he touches. I have a feeling that he And Count Chocula, probably chill.
What
on the
did
beach.
Captain Crunch ever do or say that made itself into something that was remarkable?
Look at his face. Look at the way he
He
presents
looks like
himself.
Colonel Sanders. I could confuse the cereal for chicken. I don't
Doesn't
know.
look anything like Colonel
I
Sanders,
disagree.
actually.
I
That's
think he
cool.
looks like Colonel Sanders.
Yeah, and just look at him on the side of the box.
Tony
He
the
doesn't
Tiger,
need to-
you see him and you're like, great.
Oh, okay. So because that cereal had a bigger budget,
Okay, that is not.
he gets to be in commercials. That doesn't make him cooler. Captain Crunch is the man. I rest my case. Good night.
All right. Ready for mine?
Yeah.
All right.
Good luck, though.
Okay. Those are
Luck.
really, really good.
No, they weren't.
I will say this. Like, normally I find some sort of chink in your armor. You're bulletproof on this, bro.
Okay,
you're
come
downright bulletproof.
on.
Number
If
3.
Phil sees it the same way because his scorecard is kind of the end all be all.
Best cereal mascot. His name technically is Sunny. Not a lot of people know that his name is Sunny,
I know
but
his
he's
name
the
is
cuckoo
Sunny.
bird, and he is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and he is
Sunny.
so iconic. He unlike the Trix Rabbit goes crazy. He loses his absolute.
He actually, let me correct you.
Okay.
He doesn't go crazy. He goes cuckoo.
He goes cuckoo,
Here-
and he gets it though. He ends up getting it, which is what makes the Trix Rabbit even more tragic. And I just think that the Cocoa Puffs, like when I think of Cocoa Puffs, when I think of cereal mascots, he pops up in my head. Like
yeah.
I picture him.
You know what?
Yeah.
We are putting down our weapons right now because I am in agreement with
Thank
you.
you.
No,
Thank you.
no,
Excellent.
no,
Thank you.
no, absolutely not. My
In fact,
weapons are still very much on the
I
table
didn't
and
say-
in my hands
I
as
didn't
well.
say we. I said I am putting down my weapons, and I meant between.
But
him
I
and
am
me.
I am now asserting myself into the conversation.
Cool.
I've stayed quiet. I've let you prove your point. You
See
guys
if you
keep
have anything
talking
to
about
say.
people who, and you keep using words like iconic or misunderstood. That was not the assignment. The assignment was coolest cereal animals. Or mascots, whatever their freaking name. things.
Overcoming that stuff makes you cool.
No. No. When you
Fighting
lose your cool over a cereal, you are no longer cool.
What better brand spokesperson could you have?
That's not what we're judging. We're
Pushing-
judging coolest cereal
like
mascots.
it's so effective. It's like, yeah, I don't know, man.
People-
I just
you know
think
what?
you both are very wrong.
Beings like Trix.
This wasn't even my topic.
Trix and Sunny and Captain pushing back against tyrants like you are what make
What?
them cool.
Yeah.
What?
You're a cereal mascot tyrant.
No. Do not fist bump in front of my face.
Number 2.
You want to do it right here?
No.
Coolest cereal mascot. This one I went off
Stanley.
I will admit I went off the rails. But out of the 3, I just
No, you didn't. Sunny was an ex. Sunny took quirky and made it cool.
but out of the 3 monster mascots, Count Chocula, I'm not wedging. Count Chocula, Frankenberry, but this one I put on
That
a
was
level
a wedge.
above that.
Those
was
feel
a wedge.
It was
very
not a wedge at all.
wedge-like.
It was not a wedge at all.
That felt
I'm not-
very
I'm not,
wedge-like.
I'm not even considering them in my top 3 because
Then why'd
it's,
you name
that's
them?
why- because it's part of a series. It's Frankenberry, it's Count Chocula, and it's Boo Berry, and I'm putting Boo Berry number 2. Have you
trying
What
too hard.
about Boo Berry is cool?
what about Boo Berry isn't cool?
You just talked about how great you validated the hell out of Count Chocula. Count Chocula is the
He's
leader of that.
cool.
Like Boo Berry is like a notch, just
No.
a half a notch
No,
above.
Boo Berry is
No.
Yes.
Boo Berry is in fact sometimes not even in stores.
I honestly didn't even know really much about Boo Berry at all until I was doing the research for this topic.
Wow. Well, you guys missed the boat on that one. Number
The
1.
the cereal inside is good. The mascot is mediocre.
That's so solid, dude.
Yeah, it's solid, but it's not
Like it,
number
like
2.
it
Number 2
does.
isn't solid.
It
Number
does
2
what
is
Casper
outstanding.
can only dream of doing
Continue.
when it comes to friendly ghosting. Number
or
1,
Matt Healy.
best or coolest cereal mascot of all time. It's the Captain. Yeah, it's 100%.
Oh my god!
Captain Crunch.
What was that noise that just came out of your mouth?
Maybe diminutive
Validation.
in stature, but carries it off like none other, and has inspired so many other captains, from Captain Jack Sparrow to Captain Morgan to Captain Kirk
They
to
were
Captain
not
Kangaroo.
inspired by him.
Sure they were.
Oh yes, None
Absolutely
of that.
not.
None of the elevation of the level of
You're
Captain
telling me
comes
Captain
without
Jack
Captain Crunch.
Sparrow came from a
Just think that
freaking cereal?
people view
You're
IYK.
delusional.
people view
IYK.
You know, when you are not typing it out, it's just as fast to say if you know, you know.
By the way,
IYK.
By the way,
YK.
and take whatever cereal you want, whether it's the OG, whether it's the Crunch Berries, whether it's the peanut butter Captain. It doesn't matter. Captain carries it all on his back.
Yeah. And by the way, littlest legs in the whole world, but a chest.
So he's a regal admiral. He's
Yeah.
he's an amazing character. And I would venture. I'm not going to say it, but I would venture
No.
to say one of
No.
okay.
If, God forbid, World War III ever happens,
No.
I want Captain
No,
Crunch
no.
running the ship.
Hey, before we get into the ranks, I just want to tell you how cozy my boys are. I'm talking bamboo boxer briefs from Chill Boys. These undies are incredible. It's almost like you're getting a breeze on them because they're made of lightweight, breathable bamboo. I didn't even know you could do that with underpants. If I would have played Harry Dunn in Dumb and Dumber, I would have been the one saying, sheer genius, Lloyd. And I would have been talking about these Chill Boys I'm wearing right now. You can find them on Amazon or chillboys.com. And you know what? We got football right around the corner. They just introduced the new Vikings purple. Think how happy your boys will be in those. You know, I never really cared about what kind of fragrances I had on my body or what I used to wash my body until Duke Cannon came along. You probably already know that Duke Cannon's the best men's hair products money can buy, but they do soaps and body washes too. I'm currently using a face wash that comes in a black tube and looks super cool, and a body wash called Thick. It smells phenomenal, it gets you clean, and because it's so thick, it lasts forever. There's a lot to choose from, so I encourage you to find your summertime scent at Duke Cannon. Work harder, smell better.
Topic 2, superb movie sequel.
Thank you very much.
There have been a lot of movie sequels.
Oh, have there
but
been?
I knew you were going to do that. I knew you were going to do that. But
Well,
here's
I mean,
the thing.
The stated obviousness.
But I wasn't done talking.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I'm
And most of them are pretty awful, but there have been
Oh.
several that
I
are
think we've
very
actually-
good.
I think we've done worst sequels once.
yeah, we have.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
And now we are bringing about the best movie sequels. And you know what?
Positive light.
I would like Fletch to start this time.
Ooh,
Because
the
I
movie
complain
guy.
that I never get to go first.
The
Yeah,
movie
that's
guy.
exactly because I'm a nice person.
Interesting.
I'm so nice.
Oh, it's one of those again where I had to narrow it down from 4 to 3.
Oh
I'm
my
using
gosh.
this Jimmy's.
Stop doing that.
He comes to the table with 4.
Why does he always do that?
Because
he knows
in
we
ca-
only
in case
have
he-
3.
I knocked it down before we started today. I'm just saying it was.
Then
it was
why even
really
talk about
hard.
it?
Because it was really hard.
Sometimes
that's all.
sometimes you have to just internalize and make sure that you absolutely are right pushing these forward because these are important.
Movies are very important.
Rank You Very Much is very important.
Correct.
Your number 3 is.
Number 3 actually just passed the original Avengers on the all-time box office list. And so because of that, I had to put Inside Out 2
Wow.
in at number 3. It's so good. Like I've mentioned this in the past when we did Best Inside Out Characters a
Yep.
few weeks back.
Yeah.
Inside Out Characters. I mentioned how much I loved the first one. Said it was probably my favorite animated film of all time. And that 2 might be just as good. After subsequent viewings, it's better. And it is showing it in the box office as it just continues to ascend and ascend and ascend. It's cracked the top 10 of all time.
Amazing. I hope it beats out Avatar for once and for all.
That would be wonderful. Inside Out 2 is number 3. The silver medal goes to the man in the black hat and the black armor. Empire Strikes Back. No Ken defense. I mean, good God. George Lucas, Star Wars, you see A New Hope, you go, oh, wow, suddenly we have toys. That's never existed before. Movie merchandising has never happened until a little company called Kenner got together with a little guy by the name of George Lucas, and they made A New Hope, and they gave hope to the galaxy. And then Empire Strikes Back came along and crushed all of that hope, but also was a better film. It's the second greatest movie sequel of all time.
All right. Now, what's number 1?
There's just not going to be any pushback from this.
I know. I'm struggling with this.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, they're pretty much bulletproof again. And number 1,
Here we go.
What?
I know it's coming. I know it's coming.
you know what?
You know what
Can
it
we-
is?
I just know where
Do you
he's
like
going
to
with
bet?
this. Huh?
Do you like betting?
I'm really bad at it.
Do you want to bet right now that
I
you don't know what it
because
is?
I'm really bad at it.
It's not what you think it is.
Okay.
Okay.
It is a Christopher Nolan directed film.
Oh yeah.
A 3-hour crime epic
Oh,
that just
jeez.
happens to feature a bat.
Oh.
The Dark Knight is number 1, and it's not even close. In fact, Empire Strikes Back is excellent, but I don't know that Empire Strikes Back belongs in the conversation of greatest movies of all time. It
Right.
belongs in the conversation of great movie sequels. Mm-hmm. Dark Knight belongs in the conversation of greatest films of all time.
Okay.
Period. The end.
Touche.
I have nothing else to. I mean, just go watch it. I don't need to break down. I mean, Heath Ledger's performance. Oh my God! You have the best Batman we've ever had in Christian Bale. You've got just and then what? What? You gonna say Michael Keaton?
No, I really like Robert Pattinson's take.
Ooh.
Oh, he's good.
I
yeah,
really-
sure.
I think
Let's
he- I
let's
don't-
get a little more
I'm a big
under our
fan of
belt
Robert
before we even
Pattinson.
pass.
Okay.
I share the
Okay.
same birthday as Robert Pattinson.
Okay.
Oh, what do you know? It's about Ellie.
It is.
Somehow we managed to work Ellie into the Batman conversation.
Thank you.
Are you going like this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she is. Senior portraits.
This is awkward. I'm uncomfortable.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Anyway, the box office, et cetera, et cetera. And Nolan's. I mean, the cinematography, everything. The way that thing's shot. They shot the out of it. It's Dark Knight.
They shot the what out of it? The
I bleeped myself. They shot
Oh.
the out of it.
All really
Okay.
good rankings.
All right. I'm going to go
Wow,
second.
that's twice in a row where you've got nothing.
I just think you're
I'm
on point.
I'm rendering
You're on
you
point.
silent.
I just wish that I had seen Inside Out 2 to that I could give a more thoughtful
You've had
response
plenty
to
of
that one
time.
because I thought that of the three was the most controversial. But-
Probably.
okay,
It's
so
because it's new,
right,
but you've had plenty of time to go see it, and you really should because it's super smart.
got it.
And Minnesota Connection.
Noted.
Okay.
Who's
I'm going to be
next?
very honest. I'm going to go next. I took this. I mean, it was my topic. There wasn't that much of a parameter set. I will give you that. I took it as movies where I enjoyed the second one more than I enjoyed the first one. I wasn't necessarily thinking like greatest of all time. So I know, you know what? I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah.
And I still stand by my rankings.
Say-
Number
Say
3,
Speed 2. I'm punting you out of here.
Shrek 2.
Shrek 2 is good.
It's not
I
even as
liked
good
it
as
better than the
first.
first one. I liked it better than the first one, and I've watched it more than I've watched the first one. And so Shrek 2 is my number 3. And
Can't
so,
wait for Frozen 2 next. It's going to be great.
nope, I liked Frozen 1 better. Thank you. Number 2, Mamma Mia, here we go again.
Of all time. Of all time. Of all time. Of
I
all time.
love this
Yes,
movie.
Yes, it's
I
just
absolutely love this movie.
It's such a rambunctious romp through
It's
the
such a
yes,
good movie.
yes, it's so
It's
iconic.
so fun.
It's
Is it
just-
better than the first?
I
Oh
like
my-
it better
is-
than the first.
It is just I tell you what, this of all time, if I mean just yes, yeah, it's so iconic. This
We
I
need
is-
to
feel
get-
like he's making fun of me,
It's
and I can't
legendary.
tell.
we need to get
legendary.
it. We need to get an aspirin sponsor.
Shut up. Number 1.
It's just constantly not taking the assignment seriously.
You know what? This was
Unbelievable.
my assignment, so you do not get to give me that crap right now. I'm the one who came up with this topic, and so I get to choose how the assignment works. Thank you very much. Rank you very much. Number 1, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. It is my favorite sequel of all time because it's better than the first one. The end.
That's your argument
Yep.
because it's better than the first one.
Yes, I love this movie. I love this movie. And it is better than the first one. And that is how I took the topic that I assigned. So
time to go yet?
okay.
I do think that it's spectacular.
Thank you.
Okay,
Not
and
anywhere near the
I think
first,
that
though.
this is
Not true.
this saves you from your number 2 ranking. But I, you know, it was like to
You said Mamma Mia was amazing.
He was
it
being
was-
sarcastic the whole entire time. Did
the
you
most-
not pick up on
one
that?
of the more ridiculous rankings I've ever heard for greatest sequels of all time.
Thank you.
Of all time.
It's a great
I was
sequel that is better
concerned
than the first.
of
That is how I was referring to this.
all
I was
time.
not thinking
But-
about
but-
like
but
overall all films ever.
You've succeeded with some redemption on this top ranking because I do think Home Alone 2 is so good.
It is such a good
And the
movie.
more I watch it, I think that
Yes.
it's pushing better than the first. It's like almost there now
I
to
think-
me.
Right, it's almost there, but it's not there.
It has so many more. I feel like the lessons are better. The cinematic experience is better. I just prefer it over the first one. And it is a great movie. And if you told me at Christmas time when you're watching movies, they're like, you can only watch one of the Home Alones, I'm absolutely picking Home Alone 2 over Home Alone 1.
You go, girl.
Thank
go.
you. All right. You're last.
I've got nothing.
Number 3, best movie sequel of all time.
Counting the brain cells leaving my head right now.
Get
Good
ready.
thing you wear hats all the time. They're staying in.
Get ready. Buckle up, Polly.
Oh boy.
Buckle up in the back of a jet because we're going Top Gun Maverick. That's the fact that they
I
were
should have
able to
known that was coming.
do what they
I knew
did.
that was coming.
To do what they did with that much time in between. I'm just like, there's no way. There's no way.
That
and
this
yet,
is gonna work.
And yet,
They did it.
I haven't been that entertained in an actual theater in a long ass time. Number 3.
So much so that they got you to say ass, which is bordering on might be unprecedented. It's the second time I think you said ass on the show. So, I think I get labeled as a guy who doesn't like that film because I
Yes.
said it was overrated.
Yes.
It's fantastic, and I think that the ranking is excellent because we're not talking about you interpreted it a certain way. That's fine. But
It was my topic. I can
I
interpret
know.
it however I want to.
That's why I said you interpreted it a certain way.
You
I'm
didn't
not
make it
ripping
sound like
you.
it was fine. I sensed the sarcasm, and it
But
was
to
not
me,
appreciated.
A great sequel doesn't have to be better than the original. And I still don't think that it is better than the original, but I do think it's a great sequel.
Thank you.
That's if you're going to wait 180 years after you release a movie,
Right.
if you're not going to do it right, then just don't do it. Leave it alone. Let the freaking thing rest, man,
Yeah.
in peace. And they did it right,
They did it
100%.
right.
Like then there's Dumb and Dumber. That's where you don't. That's how you don't do it.
Right. Number 2. This was hard for me because it's a trilogy, and I didn't know if number 2 was better or number 3 was better. But I'm going Back to the Future 2. I loved Back to the Future 2 so much, and the intricacies in which they had to like check all the boxes that needed to be checked, but also keep it wildly entertaining
Imagine
while
if you're
developing the characters and taking them to a whole nother level was just. I'm so in awe of Bob Gale and Robert Zemeckis for what they've pulled off with this trilogy, and this has to be on my list.
Can you imagine being in the continuity department for that film?
Seriously,
Like
seriously, it's just so.
you have to
there
get
had to
everything
be-
they had to have had the first movie memorized.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's unbelievable.
Everything has to be perfect. Like
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment because I actually have only seen
Oh
Back
my
to the
God.
Future 1. I didn't realize there were more.
Well, because you've been spending your time
watching Mamma
doing
Mia
more important
2.
things like watching Mamma Mia 2. Okay, and number 1.
This is a great ranking. I did have this in my
Short
initial
list. Your short list.
My short list, yes.
Yeah. Not a wedge. Number 1, best
even
movie
close to
sequel of all time, Empire Strikes Back. To do what they did with the amount of pressure that was on them to follow up on that iconic of all time masterpiece.
You like that word lately?
To do it again and then do it better? Like, what? Like, to then take us on a journey where it was like, okay, now it's on. This can go anywhere. And it literally did. It went
By the way,
it
they
went-
hit the shuffle button on the director and the writer.
Yeah.
Which begs the question, what exactly did George Lucas do?
That you could
If-
go.
if
you
you-
didn't matter. You can be in outer space. You can be on Dagobah. You can be on Hoth, and it was just all like it's just like mind blowing how good that film was.
I couldn't agree more. Well, I mean,
Oh,
it wasn't
jeez.
as good as the first, or as
So
good as
good,
my
but-
number one, but it was definitely worthy
Yeah.
of a number 2. If you haven't watched it, I watched it on Hulu. The channel Vice has a series called Icons Unearthed, and they go through with painstaking detail through all of the Star Wars.
Oh.
And you will learn stuff about Empire Strikes Back that blows your mind. Like you think, oh yeah, I think I know pretty much everything. You don't even have a clue how difficult it was to make those early films, especially. Highly recommend to anybody. icons on Earth. Even you would appreciate it, I think.
Okay.
You have a sense of history, yeah?
That was rude.
How is it rude?
I am older than the 3.
He said, "You have a sense of history, yeah."
Oh,
And
I
like,
thought he
so-
said yet.
No,
As in,
you
like-
have a sense of history, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. God, Lord, put your
I
weapons
thought-
away, lady.
I can't when I'm with you guys. They're always drawn.
And now, a quick break from the ranks.
You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that.
Here are the results of this week's This or That poll.
I love this whole episode drop-in called This or That we do that kind of puts it up to you. Puts it out on our Instagram stories. And by the way, we are at RankYouPod on all the social media platforms. And thank you so much to Pulltab Sports for bringing us in the fold and now putting this on YouTube as well, so you can watch all this. But we've had some great interactions online, specifically with this or that people can chime in and make their voices heard. And so what is our topic this week, Ellie?
I am curious, out of us, I should say, what our opinions are of this week. It is beer versus wine. I don't think it
haven't seen the results
surprises.
again.
Yeah, I don't think anyone is surprised to know that I'm a wine gal versus a beer person.
What
I can
am I?
enjoy a beer. You seem more.
You seem like a wine guy.
I am absolutely 1,000% a wine guy.
What?
And
So I was going to say beer for you and wine for you.
It's vice versa.
Really?
Yeah.
You're a beer guy?
Yeah, he's a wine guy.
Yeah, and
Oh.
I'm largely reds. I will do
See,
a
that makes
white
sense.
from time to time, but like,
Yeah.
give
You
me
give
a-
the red vibe.
Yeah, Shiraz.
We talked about this on an episode.
Malbecs are probably my favorite.
We had the celebrity guest, and
Jason Zucker.
we had
We
the
talked wine
celebrity
pretty- yeah.
guest with Jason Zucker, and we talked about wine. And so I should remember that about you. What kind of beer person are you, though? Are you an IPA guy?
100%.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
like nothing else.
Least,
Yeah.
Like I'm that weird about it.
least,
Yeah.
least surprising thing
It-
we've learned.
Well,
today.
so it's surprising to me. I had the roles reversed. I didn't have you as an IPA guy at all. But as soon as you said you were a beer guy, I'm like, oh, he's one of those IPA snobs. So it makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
But our audience has spoken, and 64% of people chose
wine.
wine.
Yeah, well.
I'm actually a little surprised by this,
It's
but
it's
we've
interesting
got
to know
a
that
classy
what our-
audience.
what our audience is maybe a little bit. Yeah, they
Pinkies up,
I
baby.
I think both are. I mean, just there's so many great beers. There's so many great wines. There's so many great. Yeah, it's a hard one. That's why I love this
we had
or that, because it's really, some of these are really difficult.
Yeah.
Because I love a good Sauvignon Blanc. I like
Right.
I'll drink a good wine, but like to me, if it's this or that, I got to go with this or that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no like, oh, but I can't hedge stuff. You can't fence stuff. You can't like wedge stuff.
There's
Yeah.
just so like a really strong red paired with a steak, one that
Ooh.
goes in and cleanses your. It almost
Ooh.
feels like somebody's putting a wiper on your tongue and just scrapes everything off. You know what I mean? And then you get to take another bite of steak. It's like
That sounded
oh,
a
it's
little
the
like
first-
Chewbacca there.
It's like the first bite all over again, and then
Yeah.
it's all thanks to that wine that you mixed in
Oh,
between.
yeah.
wine.
So if you want to participate in this or that, make sure you check us out on Instagram at RankYouPod.
and if you're into wine, go back and listen to the episode with Jason Zucker because he broke it down pretty hard. We got some pretty.
I learned a
extensive
lot
wine
from him.
conversation with him.
Yeah.
100%.
Topic 3, the best Steves.
All right, let's close it out with the best Steve. I feel like this was this my topic originally?
Yeah,
Or was it yours back in the day?
I don't remember.
I think it was yours and I stole it.
Oh, maybe so.
Yeah, because I like this.
Mm.
Best Steve. Perk, why don't you go
Ooh.
last?
Oh, okay. And by the
No,
way, we
you
should
can go second.
Okay, we should mention that this can be Steve, it can be Steven, it can be
It can be a
Stevie.
fictitious. Could be a fictitious Steve. It could be a real Steve.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Any
Yeah.
Steve will work. I'll start. How about that?
Oh, sounds
Okay.
good.
Number 3. Mine are all pretty straightforward.
Okay.
Steve Jobs, because the guy, questionable dude, controversial dude, but invented a pretty cool thing that has sort of impacted our life a little bit. I mean,
Just
not
a little.
lot, but a little bit.
Little.
I mean,
Little
as you
bit.
type into your MacBook,
As I'm tracking in my MacBook and I
I'm
have my
looking
iPhone,
at my iPhone
and my
your iPhone and your iPhone and
Apple
we've got
Watches,
Apple Watches, and we've got-
AirTags on everything
we've
because I
got-
lose it all.
We've got Androids because Steve Jobs made the iPhone. You've got, Steve Jobs is one of the best Steves.
Shout out. Can't
Just
disagree.
No pushback, bro.
Okay, number 2, endless impact on my childhood. Even going back to the topic, number 2,
Right.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh.
like she's surprised.
Right.
I didn't think of that, Steven.
Just Steven Spielberg. That's
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
No, it
I
just
mean-
wasn't one that came to mind at all.
In fact, go watch that Icons on Earth we talked about. You'd be amazed at how much Steven and George Lucas and I think Francis Ford Coppola all were like in a group. They were like a gang.
Wait,
and they
say that
bounced-
last name one more time.
Francis Ford Coppola.
Nope,
Yeah, you wouldn't know. He's
I didn't.
Before 1990.
Sophia's
and so,
dad.
So I wasn't alive.
right. And so, Sophia's dad. But those three like bounced ideas off of each other all the time. So he had actually a big impact on Star Wars, which probably had the biggest impact of anything on my childhood. Steven Spielberg. And I mean, then there's E.T., which by itself is...
Right.
He's done a few things besides that as well.
Just remotely iconic.
Nothing else?
Great ranking.
Yeah.
Like almost so far, almost perfect. I would say. Yeah.
Which you said-
Unless you do what I know you're going to do at number one, and then it's just kind of like,
Really? You're
Go
going to
ahead.
poo-poo on Steve Carell?
yeah.
That is rude.
It's just like, how do you? How is that above Steven Spielberg? Makes no sense.
It makes all the sense in the world
Okay.
because Steven Spielberg is revered. He's done a lot of great work, but I don't need to go get a beer with him. I'd love to go get a beer with Steve Carell. I
Yeah.
think it'd be a lot of fun. Michael Scott is just, I know you don't love The Office as
You
much
just
as we
can't
do.
separate the Michael Scott from Steve Carell.
You can't, and I love that.
Yeah, but he's also done some pretty. I mean, he was outstanding when he was on the morning show on Apple TV.
Yes. Yes, he
And
was.
he's done other even the
Oh my
Bruce-
gosh, Dinner
even
with
the
Schmucks.
Even the stupid Bruce Almighty sequel, he was pretty great in that. He was great in Bruce Almighty. He
Yeah.
was great in Anchorman.
Oh
Like,
my
bit
goodness, yeah.
players, but he's just. I would love to go get a beer with him. If we did a top 3 ranking of guys I'd most like to go get a beer with, he'd be in the conversation.
Or maybe you
And
should get a wine.
And that's what makes him. Yeah,
Touche.
you don't really go get wine though. Hey, you want to go get some wine?
No.
Good point.
Especially bros. Like, let's go get some wine.
Hey, Perk, why don't you go second?
Okay, we'll do.
Make the lady go last.
Number 3. I'm going Steve Jobs. I just think, he just like the impact that he had, but also just like if you've ever listened to his speeches or listened to some of the wisdom that he spews, it's
Smart guy.
some of it's really deep and really cool. Makes you kind of really think big picture on some things, and just he was such a visionary, and easily in my top 3.
But what's unbelievable is he took all of that, what you're talking about, like stuff that he was a visionary, that he would think all of this stuff, and somehow he managed to, I don't even know how it's possible, take all those intangible things and bottle them up into a handheld device that we carry with us every day.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. Number 2 is somebody that one of my all-time favorite artists of all time, which is what I just said all time twice, didn't I?
You
One of my
did.
all-time favorite artists of all time. But I grew up
Steve
listening
Van
to
Zandt.
I grew up listening to him, and I still to this day listening to him,
Oh.
like heavy on my playlist.
Oh, he said
And-
Stevie earlier.
Yeah, it's Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
I
That
just
makes sense.
I saw Stevie Wonder. We were at a hotel in Detroit. We were in the lobby leaving for the
It
Vikings
was
game.
1963.
No, it's
and
not a
there was
flex.
snow
It wasn't a
coming in
flex
over
because
the-
I pissed my pants. I was so excited. But I was like, we were in the lobby of the hotel, and we're getting out to our rental car.
Hey, if pissing your pants isn't cool, consider me Miles Davis.
you know what I'm saying? I stopped in my tracks at the curb, and I spun my head back around. I'm like,
Do you think he saw you?
wow.
That was such a bad joke. It was so good. Can we just end the episode there?
I mean, we might as well because we only got your rankings left.
I put a lot of thought
I know.
into
I know. Well, I still have to
mine.
do my number 1. I still have to, I
Oh,
still
you
have,
can go.
I still have to do my number 1.
He is cool because his name is Steve, and the dude can't see, and he still just had this air of cool about him.
And has done it for so long.
Oh my
unbelievable.
gosh.
His work stands up. He was so ahead of himself. Anyway, number 1,
Such
best
an
Steve
ass
of all
for laughing
time.
This hard at myself.
Oh my
but
gosh.
that was awesome.
Drama, comedy, like wonderment, adventure, fantasy. Steven Spielberg, easily
yeah.
number 1. Had such a deep impact on my life and so many others,
I
obviously.
love that you both had this,
but has,
and I didn't even.
But has
consider
inspired
it.
is such an inspiration to so many others. Like you talk to filmmakers and anybody in that industry, and he is the gold standard. He is like the deity almost of it all, and it's just kind of like hard to knock. Anyway, that's my number 1.
I knew it. Did you know that Deep Impact was executive produced by Steven Spielberg?
Oh, funny.
You said he had Deep Impact.
Funny.
So it made me look. It's Amblin Pictures, which is him.
Yeah.
We saved the best for last.
Oh, boy.
Number 3, Universal number 3, Steve Jobs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at
I
us
mean,
go.
look at me right now. Like you said, there's a MacBook in front of me. I've got my iPhone. I've got my Apple Watch. I have privilege, and I'm a big fan of how cohesive all of my products work together. So shout out to Steve Jobs for that, but also for all the other things that you talked about, his motivational speeches. I mean, just great impact. Best Steve, number 3. Number 2 had a great impact on my life. You all have talked about that, but especially my childhood. Steve Martin.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Steve Martin.
Yes.
And as I've gotten older, I've become even a greater fan. He's so funny.
He's incredibly funny.
He
Very
seems
likable.
like a really chill, fun, cool
Down
dude.
to earth.
Yeah. So, talk about someone I'd like to grab a glass of wine with. It would be Steve Martin.
Gosh, this is so good, Ellie.
Yeah.
You're on such a roll.
I told
It's
you
one of
best
your-
for last.
It's one of your best rankings. I considered him very seriously, but ultimately it was like you have to make if we
You
tried
have to
do-
cut.
If we try to do an unbiased like these are the universal, like these are my best Steves.
Right.
I just couldn't put him in mine. But I think if we did a universal,
That's legit.
like-
That's why Stevie Wonder's in mine because
Right.
he's mine.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
and
also
frankly,
legit.
that-
You also can't argue it. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder is
Right.
phenomenal.
There are a lot of good Steves out there. Shout out to Steves.
Pretty good Steves.
Number 1, though, I mean, you knew
here it
this
goes.
was coming. Obviously, Steve Carell. I mean, for all the reasons of Steve Martin, plus 10, right? I mean, he's just
And
iconic.
The older demographic will kind of grit their teeth and roll their eyes at possibly ranking Steve Carell over Steve Martin, but it's fair. Steve Carell's that funny,
Yeah.
and that good.
Yeah. And transcends all the generations. Whereas I feel like Steve Martin, when I say that maybe to some of my friends, they're kind of like, who? Oh, yeah, the guy from Cheaper by the Dozen. I'm like, oh, he's so much more than that. But
think
Steve Carell, everyone knows him from something.
I think Steve Carell's got more range too.
Yes.
as an actor.
Agreed.
I agree. With that, I agree as more range than Steve Martin, but I do think that Steve Martin's unbelievable. So good.
Yeah.
So there it is. Best for last. I win.
I would like to dedicate this episode to Stevie Wonder.
Really? After you disrespected him? Made fun of him? Mocked him? Okay. Peace out, Paul.
Rank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Original theme created by Walk Off the Earth. Interact with the show on social media at RankYouPod. Thank you, thank you, thank you, comma, thank you.
Thank you very much.